The buzzer screamed like a gut punch, and there he was, Jackson Hale, the golden boy of Boston University basketball, slamming into me midair, his sweat-slicked jersey colliding with mine as we both crashed to the hardwood. "What the hell do I do now?" he gasped, eyes wild under the arena lights, his breath hot against my ear like a confession he couldn't hold back anymore. In that frozen second, with the crowd's roar fading to a distant hum, I realized his secret wasn't just about the game. It was about us, and it was about to shatter everything. I wasn't supposed to be the one he turned to. Not me, Eli Rivera, the walk-on junior from the South End, the guy who warmed the bench more than he played it. Boston in October felt like a pressure cooker already. Crisp leaves crunching underfoot on Commonwealth Avenue. The Charles River mirroring the fiery reds of fall like it was bleeding out the season's regrets. I'd scraped my way into BU on a partial academic ride. My grades in psych just sharp enough to offset my lackluster high school stats. Basketball was my escape, not my destiny. Practices were brutal symphonies of squeaking sneakers and Coach Harlan's barked orders. But I thrived in the shadows, diagramming plays on napkins during film sessions, spotting the tells in opponents' defenses that no one else noticed. Jackson was the opposite. 6'4" of pure electricity, with a fade that hugged his scalp like it was sculpted for magazine covers and arms that could launch threes from half-court without breaking a sweat. Recruited from some fancy prep school in Connecticut, he was the Terriers' star point guard, the kid with nil deals stacking up before he'd even declared for the draft. Fans chanted, "Hail yeah!" at every home game, and girls, hell, half the campus, draped themselves over him like he was the last slice of pizza at a frat party. But me, I was invisible, or so I thought. It started innocently enough that first time he came to me. We were midway through a scrimmage against Northeastern, the gym thick with the smell of rubber and Gatorade. Jackson had just turned the ball over. A lazy pass intercepted like it was gift-wrapped, and Coach yanked him for a breather. He slumped onto the bench next to me, towel draped over his neck, staring at the floor like it had personally betrayed him. "Rivera," he muttered, voice low enough that the assistants wouldn't catch it. "You see that pick and roll they ran? How do I counter it without telegraphing?" I blinked, caught off guard. No one asked the bench guy for reads, but I saw it clear as day. Their center faking left, the guard curling right off a screen that our big man, Marcus, was too slow to fight through. "Switch earlier," I said, sketching it quick on my knee with a Sharpie I'd pocketed from the trainer's kit. "Have Marcus bump the guard low, force the handoff. You'll read the hesitation and poke it free." He nodded, eyes lighting up like I'd handed him the keys to the city, and trotted back out there. Next possession, boom, steal, fast break, his dunk echoing like thunder. The team mobbed him, but as he jogged past the bench, he shot me a wink. Just a flicker, but it landed like a spark in dry grass. After that, it became our thing. Games turned into these clandestine consultations. During timeouts, while the starters huddled around Coach's whiteboard, Jackson would sidle over, pretending to grab water, and lean in close. "Eli, man, their zone's choking us. What's the crack?" I'd whisper back, heart pounding not from the pressure but from the way his cologne, something woodsy, like cedar after rain, cut through the arena's stale air. I'd break it down. Angles, tendencies, the subtle head fakes their point guard did when he was bluffing a drive. He listened like I was Oracle, absorbing every word, then exploding back onto the court to make it magic. Wins piled up against Providence, Villanova, and suddenly whispers in the locker room shifted. "Hale's on fire this season. What's his secret sauce?" If only they knew. Off the court, we started hanging. Study sessions in the Muger Memorial Library turned into late-night walks along the esplanade. The city lights dancing on the water like they were flirting with us. Jackson opened up in fragments. The weight of expectations from his dad, a Wall Street shark who flew in from Manhattan for every big game. The isolation of being the face, when all he wanted was to hoop without the spotlight scorching him. "You're real, Eli," he'd say, punching my shoulder lightly as we grabbed falafel from that hole in the wall on Newberry Street. "No bullshit. Everyone else wants a piece, you just get it." I got it, all right. More than he knew. I'd been out since high school quietly, rainbow stickers on my laptop, a Buy Pride pin on my backpack that no one questioned because, well, who pays attention to the benchwarmer? Boston was progressive on paper. Pride flags waving from City Hall, same-sex marriage a no-brainer since '04. But in the hyper-macho bubble of college ball, it was a minefield. Teammates tossed around, "That's gay," like confetti, not meaning harm but not caring either. Jackson laughed along, but I caught the flinch in his eyes, the way he'd changed the subject when the ribbing got too close. One night, after a thriller against UConn, we stole it 78-76 on his buzzer beater. I found him in the empty weight room, pounding the heavy bag like it owed him money. Sweat poured off him, muscles rippling under the fluorescent hum. "Can't sleep?" I asked, leaning in the doorway. He stopped, gloves hanging loose, chest heaving. "Nightmares about choking." Dad's voice in my head. "Champions don't fold, Jax." He peeled off the wraps, revealing knuckles raw and red. Without thinking, I grabbed the ice pack from the trainer's fridge and pressed it to his hand. Our fingers brushed, and time stuttered. His eyes, hazel, flecked with gold, locked on mine, searching. "Thanks," he whispered, "for everything." That everything hung between us like fog off the harbor. We didn't name it, not yet. But as winter clamped down on Boston, sidewalks slick with black ice, nor'easters howling off the Atlantic, our moments multiplied. Coffee runs to Tat Bakery before dawn practice, where he'd steal bites of my almond croissant and grin like a kid. Study breaks in my cramped Alston apartment. Textbooks forgotten as we blasted Kendrick Lamar and debated the GOAT, LeBron or MJ, until the neighbors banged on the walls. He fit there, on my sagging couch with its threadbare quilt from my abuela, like he'd always belonged. But cracks showed. A scout from the Celtics sat courtside during a rivalry game with BC, and Jackson iced me out completely. No bench huddles, no post-game texts. "Gotta look the part," he explained later, over lukewarm pizza at Pinocchio's. "Can't be seen whispering with the scrub." Stung, sharp as a pulled hamstring, but I swallowed it. He was under siege. Agents circling, his dad grilling him over FaceTime about brand alignment. Still, when he won Patriot League Player of the Week, the first text I got was a selfie from the podium. Him in a ill-fitting blazer, mouthing, "This one's for you." Spring training ramped up, the campus blooming with cherry blossoms that perfumed the air like sweet lies. We were undefeated in conference play, the tournament buzz electric. Jackson and I stole a weekend up to Provincetown. Team bonding, we joked, but it was just us, renting bikes and pedaling the Cape Cod rail trail, wind whipping our laughter into the salt spray. At a quiet beach bar, sunset painting the dunes in pinks and oranges, he bought me a Sam Adams and clinked bottles. "Eli, you're my anchor. Without you, I'd be adrift." His voice cracked, and when he looked at me, really looked, the world narrowed to the space between us. I wanted to bridge it, to taste the beer on his lips, but fear clamped my throat. What if I was wrong? What if this was just bromance in a pressure cooker? Fate, that cruel Boston driver, decided for us. It happened after a brutal loss to Syracuse. Our first skid, 82-79, Jackson airballing a game-tying three that haunts highlight reels to this day. The locker room was a tomb. Heads bowed, tape ripping off ankles like peeling skin. Coach ripped into us, but Jackson took the brunt. Shoulders slumped under the verbal barrage. I waited outside, hood up against the sleet, until he emerged, duffel slung low. "Walk with me?" he asked, voice hollow. We trudged to the tee, the green line rumbling beneath our feet like unspoken regrets. At my stop, he followed me up the stairs without a word. My apartment was a mess. Laundry piled like accusations, dishes from last night's solo microwave burrito, but he didn't care. He collapsed onto the couch, head in hands. "I let everyone down. Dad's gonna kill me." I sat beside him, close enough to feel the heat radiating off his skin. "You didn't. One shot doesn't define you." He lifted his head, eyes red-rimmed, and in that vulnerability, the dam broke. His hand found mine, tentative as a first step on ice. "Eli, it's not just the game. It's you. I can't stop thinking." The rest was lost as he leaned in, lips brushing mine soft as sea foam. Fireworks didn't explode. Instead, it was a quiet unraveling. His kiss tasting of salt and need, hands cupping my face like I was fragile. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the room spinning. "I've wanted this," he murmured, "since that first scrimmage. You're the only one who sees me." That night, we talked until dawn. Whispers tangled with kisses, mapping the terrain of each other's fears. He confessed the hiding, the fake dates with sorority girls for optics, the prayers in empty chapels that God wouldn't make him this way. I shared my own scars, the taunts in Pee Wee leagues, the relief of coming out to my mom over tamales one Christmas Eve. "We're in this together," I promised, tracing the line of his jaw. And for a stolen season, we were. Summer haze settled over Boston like a fever dream. Campus emptied, but we stayed. Internships be damned. Hooping at pickup games on cracked asphalt courts in Roxbury, where the rhythm of the city pulsed raw and real. Our romance bloomed in stolen hours. Picnics in the public garden with swan boats gliding by like indifferent witnesses. Midnight drives to Revere Beach where we'd park and watch waves crash under a blanket of stars. Jackson was poetry in motion off the court too. Reading Ginsberg aloud in his dorm, voice husky with wonder, or surprising me with tickets to a Dropkick Murphys show, pogoing in the pit like we were invincible. But love in the closet is a thief, stealing joy in increments. His phone buzzed constantly. Dad's voicemails laced with toughen up, agents pushing clean image clauses. Teammates noticed the shift, Marcus ribbing him about that Rivera glow. And Jackson pulled back, our touches turning coded. A brush of knuckles in passing, eyes lingering a beat too long. "It's temporary," he'd assure me, pulling me close in the dim of my bedroom. "Once the draft hits, we go public. Portland, LA. Somewhere that doesn't freeze your balls off." I'd laugh, but doubt gnawed like winter wind. Fall semester crashed in with preseason hype. Media days at Agganis Arena. Flashes popping like gunfire, reporters probing Jackson's maturity leap. He nailed the sound bites, all charm and deflection. But later, in the green room, he gripped my hand under the table, knuckles white. "They asked about my type," said, "driven women who keep me grounded." The lie twisted in my gut, but I squeezed back. "Play the game, babe. We'll rewrite the rules later." Our secret held through October's gauntlet. Wins over Holy Cross, a nail-biter against Harvard. Jackson shone, my whispers his invisible armor. But during a road trip to Duke, the wheel wobbled. Hotel rooms were doubles. Luck be damned. Me and Jackson paired by some cosmic joke. Lights out, the hum of the AC our only chaperone. He rolled toward me, body fitting against mine like puzzle pieces. "Miss you even when you're here," he breathed, fingers tracing my spine. We made love slow and silent. Kisses like lifelines, bodies speaking what words couldn't. Dawn found us tangled, his head on my chest, heartbeat sinking to mine. "I love you, Eli," he said, the words a vow etched in skin. Back in Boston, the storm brewed. A tabloid snippet surfaced. Grainy photo from P-Town, us biking too close, captioned, "Hale's mystery bro?" Jackson laughed it off publicly, but privately, panic set in. "Damage control," he said, drafting a tweet with PR. "Just broing you out with my teammate. Terriers united." It went viral, likes pouring in, but each one felt like a brick on my chest. "It's fine," I lied, forcing a smile over burgers at Shake Shack. But the distance grew, fewer texts, practices where he'd avoid my eyes. November brought the ACC Big East Showcase, spotlights blazing. We faced Gonzaga in the Garden. TD itself, 19,000 strong chanting, "Let's go, Zags!" Jackson was electric, 32 points, assists threading needles, but in the fourth, with us down 3, he turned to me again. "Timeout. Bench chaos," he leaned in. "Eli, their trap. How do I beat it?" Our eyes met, a lifetime in a glance, but Marcus clapped his shoulder, pulling him away. "Got you, bro." Jackson hesitated, then nodded, to him, not me. The play they ran was mine, but he executed it with Marcus's tweak. A no-look pass that sealed the win. Post-game, hugs all around, but when I reached for him, he stiffened. "Not here," he hissed, eyes darting to the cameras. That night, at the team dinner in the North End, cannoli and Chianti flowing. He sat across from me, charming the boosters, but his foot found mine under the table, a Morse code apology. Later, in the alley behind Mike's Pastry, rain slicking the cobblestones, he pulled me into a doorway. "I'm sorry. The pressure. It's crushing me." His kiss was desperate, tasting of red wine and regret. "I need you, but I can't. Not yet." I held him as thunder rolled, promising we'd weather it. But lightning strikes without warning. The betrayal came swift as a fast break. December 5th against URI, home crowd feral, snow dusting the streets outside. Halftime, we're up 6, but their coach adjusts, clamping Jackson in a box and 1. He storms to the bench, face thunderous, and instead of me, he grabs Marcus. "Yo, read this for me." They huddle, laughing over some inside joke, while I sit frozen, the Sharpa limp in my hand. Second half, he torches them, triple-double, confetti raining, but it's Marcus calling the shots now, the new whisperer. Post-game presser, Jackson gushes. "Shout out to Mark for the IQ tonight. Man's a genius." My phone stayed silent that night. I paced my apartment, the radiator clanking like accusations, replaying every stolen glance. By 2 a.m., a knock, Jackson, soaked from the tea, eyes haunted. "Eli, wait." But I cut him off, hurt spilling like floodwater. "You replaced me. Just like that." He collapsed against the doorframe, words tumbling. The scout's warning, "No distractions. Kid." Dad's ultimatum over Thanksgiving. "Don't throw it all away for whatever this is." I panicked, he admitted, voice breaking. "But it's you. Always you." We fought then, raw and real. Accusations flying like errant passes. "Am I just your crutch, Jax? The secret you ditch when it's inconvenient?" He grabbed my arms, fierce. "No, you're my heart. But the world's not ready, not for us." Tears mixed with rain on his cheeks. "Give me time, please." I wanted to believe, to pull him inside and barricade the door. But doubt had rooted deep. "Time's the one thing we don't have," I whispered. He left at dawn, a ghost in gray light. The weeks blurred into a haze of avoidance. Practices became battlegrounds. Stolen looks across the gym, tension thick as humidity before a squall. Jackson dominated, averaging 28 a game, but the spark dimmed, his plays mechanical, joy leached out. Rumors swirled. A sports blog speculating Hale's off-court drama. Teammates side-eyeing our fractured vibe. Coach pulled me aside after a sloppy win over Fordham. "Rivera, you and Hale. Fix whatever's broken. We need that chemistry." Christmas break loomed. A mercy. Boston decked in lights. Tree at Faneuil Hall twinkling like false promises. I headed home to my mom's in Dorchester, the house smelling of pastels and pine. Mom, with her sharp eyes and sharper intuition, saw through my forced cheer. Over eggnog by the fire, I spilled it all, the love, the hiding, the hurt. "Me, Joe," she said, cupping my face. "Love isn't a spectator sport. If he's worth it, fight for the court. But don't lose yourself in the stands." Her words armored me. Back on campus for holiday tourney prep, I cornered Jackson in the film room, projectors humming ghosts of old games. "We talk. Now." He looked wrecked, bags under his eyes, fade grown out shaggy. "Eli, no excuses." I cut in. "You come to me for advice because you trust me. So trust me with this, us." He paced, shadows dancing on the walls. "Dad found out. Some PI he hired, P-Town pics, your apartment logs. He gave me an out. Cut ties, focus on the draft, or he pulls funding for the foundation. The Hale Foundation, scholarships for underprivileged kids, his pride and joy. It's kids like you were, Eli. I can't let them down." The revelation gutted me. "So I'm the sacrifice?" He whirled, anguish carving his face. "God, no. You're the reason it exists. But he's got leverage. Threatens to out me if I don't comply. Publicly. Career over before it starts." Silence stretched, heavy as lead. I stepped close, hand on his chest, feeling the frantic drum. Then we fight smarter. Go public on our terms. Let the world burn. We'll rebuild from the ashes. His laugh was bitter. You make it sound easy, but Boston eats its heroes alive. Fate doubled down that New Year's Eve. Team party at a Back Bay loft. Bass thumping. Champagne flutes clinking like ice in a storm. Jackson arrived late, dad in tow. A silver fox in a Brioni suit, handshake firm as a contract clause. I hovered in corners, nursing a seltzer, watching them work the room. Jackson a puppet on strings. Midnight struck, Auld Lang Syne crooning, and as confetti fell, I caught his eye across the crush. He mouthed, "Meet me outside." Desperation etched. The balcony overlooked the snow-draped city. Prudential Tower aglow like a beacon. He burst through the doors, coatless in the bite. Eli, he's leaving tomorrow. Ultimatum stands. Wind howled, whipping his words. I love you. God. I do. But I can't tank everything. Betrayal crested then, hot and final. You already have, I said, voice steady despite the shatter. By choosing fear over us. He reached for me, but I stepped back. Go be the star, Jax. I'll find my light elsewhere. He left in a blur of tears and taillights, the door slamming like a guillotine. I stood there till numbness set in, city lights blurring to halos. The fallout was apocalypse slow burn. January thawed the betrayal into routine. Practices where we orbited like wary planets. Games where my advice echoed hollow in his plays. BU rolled through conference, 14-2. But the magic soured, losses to ranked teams piling like drifts. Jackson chased stats like pennants, but interviews caught the edge. Just grinding, you know? Fans sensed it, chance fracturing. I threw myself into shadows, extra film study, volunteering at the rec center in Jamaica Plain, teaching kids crossovers with dreams bigger than their sneakers. There, in scraped knees and gap-toothed grins, I found echoes of us. Pure, unfiltered joy. A text from Jackson pinged mid-drill. Saw you coaching. Proud. Miss you. I deleted it, thumb trembling. Healing wasn't linear. It was loops of what-ifs under the hoop. February's frozen heart brought the storm's eye. Senior night, against arch-rival St. John's. Arena packed, banners waving like battle flags. Jackson gifted. Custom Terrier's jersey to his mom in the stands. But his eyes sought me on the bench, a silent plea. Tip-off and hell unleashed. Johnny's pressing full court, our rhythm a stutter. Halftime down 12, coach's clipboard splintering. Jackson approached, hesitant. Eli, any reads? The team froze, air thick. Marcus smirked. Whispers rippled. I met his gaze steady. Break their pressure with high lows. Feed Marcus underneath. Let Jackson flare for the kickout. Simple, surgical. He nodded, gratitude flickering, and they executed second-half surge, 88-81 victory. Post-game, confetti storm, he hugged me public. Backslap lingering a beat too long. Couldn't without you, he murmured. Dad watched from VIP, jaw tight. Locker room euphoria cracked when Dad cornered him. Voices raised, door ajar. End this farce, Jackson, or the foundation's dust. Jackson's reply, it's not a farce, Dad. It's me. Silence, then a slap, sharp as cracking ice. I burst in, heart hammering. Mr. Hale, he whirled, venomous. You, the poison. Jackson stepped between, fierce. Enough. I love him, and if that tanks the draft, so be it. The room erupted, teammates gaping, phones out. Dad stormed out, but the damage bloomed. By morning, TMZ blared, BU star comes out in epic family blowup, boyfriend revealed. Twitter imploded. Hail out trending, rainbows and pitchforks clashing. Reporters swarmed practice, mics thrusting like spears. Jackson faced it head-on, press conference raw. Yeah, Eli's my guy. He's my strength on and off the court. Love wins, folks. Deal with it. Boston responded in waves. Slurs scrawled on our dorm, but pride rallies swelled. fans in rainbow face paint at the next game, chanting Eli, Jackson. Nike paused his deal. Others jumped in, Under Armour with a BU campaign. Dad? Radio silence. Then a curt email. Sort your mess. Foundation's yours if you behave. Jackson donated it all to queer youth programs. Cutting ties clean. We rebuilt brick by aching brick. Spring's thaw mirrored ours. Walks hand in hand on the esplanade. No hiding. Graduation loomed. Jackson went undrafted second round to the Celtics. Home. A sign. I landed a grad assistant gig at BU, diagramming for the next generation. Our first real date? Fenway opener, dogs and beers. His arm around me as Big Poppy's number retired. This is us, he said, kissing my temple. No more benches. Years blur now. I'm head coach at a D2 school in Vermont, Jackson grinding G League. Our apartment in JP filled with kids' art from the foundation we run. Betrayal scarred, but it forged us. Stronger, truer. Love isn't a game you win. It's the play that lingers, echoing long after the buzzer. In Boston's unyielding heart, we learned, even stars fall, but together, we rise.